नमस्कार जय जगन्नाथ आपण मानक स्वागत करुच्ची स्टडी स्टार्टर चैनल को। आज भिडियो रे आपण मैंने भारतर प्रथम प्रशासन एवं सरकार विषय जानवे एवं ता सहित ए भिडियो रे शेष में आपण मानक एक क्विज मिलिबो जार आंसर आपण मैंने कमेंट बॉक्स रे जणाई परिबे। तो वीडियो आरंभ करने पूर्व दयाकोरी चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दिंतु एवं पाखर थिबा बेल आइकन को दबाई दिंतु जहाँफल आपण मानक आमर आगु को आसुवा वीडियोर सूचना मिल पार एवं आपण मैंने आम टेलीग्राम चैनल भी जॉइन करेंगे। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिखाई। तो चलतु डेरी न करी वीडियो को आरंभ करवा। तो फास्ट क्वेश्चन होची हु इज द इंडियाज फर्स्ट वुमेन आईपीएस ऑफिसर। यार आंसर होची बी किरण बेदी। किरण बेदी इज एन इंडियन सोशल एक्टिविस्ट, former tennis player and politician who became the first woman in India to join the officer ranks the Indian Police Service in 1972 and was the 24th Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry from 28 May 2016 to 16 February 2021. Next question होची who is the first Muslim president of Indian National Congress। यार आंसर होची बदरुद्दीन तायबजी। Badruddin Tayebji was an Indian lawyer, activist and politician during British Raj. Tayebji was the first Indian to practice as a barrister of the High Court of Bombay, who served as the third president of the Indian National Congress. Next question होची who is the first Governor General of India। यार आंसर होची A Lord William Bentinck। Lord William Bentinck assumed the office of the Governor General in 1828. Born in 1774, he commenced his career as a soldier and later, at the young age of 22, he became a member of parliament. He was appointed the governor of Madras in 1803. Who is the first viceroy of India? Your answer होची Lord Canning. D. Lord Canning. Important events under Lord Canning. The doctrine of lapse was abolished. Indigo revolts took place between 1859 and 1860. In 1859, European troops revolted against the Whites. Kolkata, Madras and Bombay each got their own university. The Indian Council Act 1861 was enacted. Next question होची who is the first president of India? Your answer होची C. Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was an Indian independence activist, lawyer and scholar and subsequently the first president of India in office from 1950 to 1962. He joined the Indian National Congress during the Indian independence movement and became a major leader from the region of Bihar and Maharashtra. Next question होची who is the first governor of Bengal? Your answer होची B. Lord Clive. Lord Clive by Robert Clive, in full Robert Clive, first Baron Clive of Plassey. Born on September 29, 1725 in England and died November 22, 1774 in London. Soldier and first British administrator of Bengal, who was one of the creators of British power in India. Next question होची who is the first Prime Minister of India? Your answer होची C. Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru was an Indian anti-colonial nationalist, secular humanist, social democrat and author who was central figure in India during the middle of the 20th century. Nehru was a principal leader of the Indian nationalist movement in the 1930s and 1940s. Next question होची who is the first Muslim president of Indian Republic? Your answer होची A. Dr. Zakir Hussain. Dr. Zakir Hussain Khan was an Indian economist and politician who served as the third president of India from 13 May 1967 until his death on 3 May 1969. He previously served as the governor of Bihar from 1957 to 1962 and as the second vice president of India from 1962 to 1967. Next question होची who is the first president of India to die in office? Your answer होची C. Dr. Zakir Hussain. Next question होची who is the first president of Indian National Congress? Your answer होची W.C. Banerjee. C. W.C. Banerjee. W.C. Banerjee यांको उमेश चंद्र बनर्जी भी कहा जाए जे कि उमेश चंद्र बनर्जी was an Indian barrister. He was the co-founder and first president of Indian National Congress. Born on 1844 at Kolkata, he studied at the Oriental Seminary and the Hindu School. His career began in 1862 when he joined the firm WP. Next question, who is the first Governor General of Independent India? Your answer होची सी राजगोपालाचारी. श्री राजगोपालचारी बा चक्रवर्ती राजगोपालचारी, popularly known as Rajaji or CR, also known as Mutharignar Rajaji, was an Indian statesman, writer, lawyer, and independence activist. Rajgopalachari was the last Governor General of India as India became a republic in 1950. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होची हु इज नोन एज द इंडियन बुरुक यार आंसर होची सुरेंद्रनाथ बनर्जी सी सुरेंद्रनाथ बनर्जी सर सुरेंद्रनाथ बनर्जी often known as Rashtraguru was in Indian national leader during the British rule. He founded a nationalist organization called the Indian National Association and was one of the founding members of the Indian National Congress. Next question होची who was the last viceroy of India? Last Viceroy of India is Lord Mountbatten. See Lord Mountbatten. Laus Francis. Next question होची who କେତେ ତାର କୋଉ ଗାଁ ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ଦେଖୁନ ଲାଟିଟା ଟିକେ ଟିକେ रोड नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होची हु वाज द लास्ट वाइसरॉय ऑफ इंडिया यार आंसर होची लॉर्ड माउंटबेटन याकू लॉउस फ्रांसिस आल्बर्ट विक्टर निकोलस माउंटबेटन भी कहा जाए फर्स्ट ईयर माउंटबेटन ऑफ बोर्मा born and known until 1917 as Prince Louis of Battenberg, then named until 1946 Lord Louis Mountbatten and then named Viscount Mountbatten of Burma until 1947 was a British nobleman, statesman and military officer. Next होची who is the first temporary president of Constituent Assembly? यार आंसर होची B. Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. He was a member of the Imperial Legislative Council from 1910 to 1920 and the Indian Legislative Assembly. He was deputy president of the Assembly in 1921 and he also held the office of the president in the Bihar and Odisha Legislative Council. He was appointed executive councillor and finance member of the government of Bihar and Odisha, and thus he was the first Indian who was ever appointed as a finance member of province. Next question होची who is the first Indian ICS officer? यार आंसर होची A. Satyendranath Tagore. Satyendranath Tagore was an Indian Bengali civil servant, poet, composer, writer, social reformer and linguist from Kolkata, West Bengal. He was the first Indian who became an Indian civil service officer in 1863. He was a member of Brahmo Samaj. Next question, who is the first vice president of India? Your answer होची C. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Radhakrishnan was awarded several high awards during his life, including a knighthood in 1931, the Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award in India in 1954. He was also one of the founders of Helpage India, a non-profit organization for elderly underprivileged in India. Radhakrishnan believed that teachers should be the best minds in the country. Since 1962, his birthday has been celebrated in India as Teachers' Day on 5th September every year. Next question होची who is the first Indian laws to International Court of Justice? यार आंसर होची Dr. Nagendra Singh. Maharaj Sri Nagendra Singh was an Indian lawyer and administrator who served as president of the International Court of Justice from 1985 to 1988. He was one of the 4 judges from India to have been judges of the International Court of Justice. In the Haju, the others being B.N. Rao R.S. Next question, who was the first woman speaker of a state assembly in India? Your answer होजी Sano Devi. C. Sano Devi. Sano Devi was an Indian politician, was the first woman speaker of a state assembly in India. She was member of the Indian National Congress from the state of Punjab. Next question होची who is the first speaker of Lok Sabha? Your answer होची G.B. Movalnkar. A. G.B. Movalnkar. ये होचन G.B. Movalnkar. Ganesh Vasudev Movalnkar, popularly known as Dada Saheb, was an independence activist, the president of the Central Legislative Assembly, then Speaker of the Constituent Assembly of India, and later the first Speaker of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Parliament of India. Next question होची who is the India's first minister to resign from Union Cabinet? यार आंसर होची C. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee was an Indian politician, barrister and academician who served as the Minister for Industry and Supply in Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet. After falling out with Nehru protesting against the Liaquat Nehru Act, Mukherjee resigned from Nehru's cabinet. Next question होची who is the India's first election commissioner? यार आंसर होची Sukumar Sen. A. Sukumar Sen. Sukumar Sen was an Indian civil servant who was the first Chief Election Commissioner of India, serving from 21 March 1950 to 19 December 1958. Under his leadership, the Election Commission successfully administered and oversaw independent India's first two general elections in 1951 to 52 and 1957. Next question होची who is the first Chief Justice of India? यार आंसर होची जस्टिस हरिलाल जे कन्या. Sri Harilal Jeki Sundas Kanya was the first Chief Justice of India. He served as the Chief Justice of India from 1950 to 1951. He died while serving in office in 1951. Next question होची who is the first Deputy Prime Minister of India? यार आंसर होची C. सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. वल्लभ भाई जाबर भाई पटेल and as Sardar was an Indian statesman. He served as the first Deputy Prime Minister of India from 1947 to 1950. Next question होची who is the first Indian Prime Minister to resign from office? यार आंसर होची A. Morarji Desai. Morarji Ranchodi Desai was an Indian independence activist and politician who served as the fourth Prime Minister of India between 1977 and 1979, leading the government formed by the Janata Party. Next question होची who is the first Indian Prime Minister to lose an election? यार आंसर होची D. Indira Gandhi. Indira Priyadarshini Gandhi was an Indian politician and a central figure of the Indian National Congress. She was the third Prime Minister of India and was also the first and to date only female Prime Minister of India. Gandhi was the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India. Next question होची who is the India's first woman Prime Minister? यार आंसर होची C. Indira Gandhi. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होची हु इज द फर्स्ट एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर? यार आंसर होची अबुल कलाम आजाद. अबुल कलाम आजाद ओरिजिनल नेम होची अबुल कलाम गुलाम मुहिउद्दीन, also called Maulana Abul Kalam Azad or Maulana Azad. After the war, Azad was one of the Indian leaders who negotiated for Indian independence with the British. Next question, who is the first Home Minister of India? यार आंसर होची सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. सी. सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होची हु इज द फर्स्ट वुमेन स्पीकर ऑफ लोकसभा? यार आंसर होची मीरा कुमार. सी. मीरा कुमार. ये होचंदी मीरा कुमार. मीरा कुमार इज एन इंडियन पॉलिटिशियन एंड फॉर्मर डिप्लोमेट, ए मेंबर ऑफ द इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस. शी वाज द मिनिस्टर ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट फ्रॉम 2004 to 2009, the Minister of Water Resources for a brief period in 2009, and the 15th Speaker of Lok Sabha from 2009 to 2014. Next question, who is the first Indian woman president of INC? Your answer होची C. Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was an Indian political activist and poet, a proponent of civil rights, women's emancipation and anti-imperialistic ideas. She was an important figure of Indian struggle for independence from colonial rule. Next question, who is the India's first woman governor? Your answer होची B. Sarojini Naidu. Who is the first Indian president, woman president? Your answer होची A. Pratibha Patil. Pratibha Dev Singh Patil is an Indian politician and lawyer who served as the 12th president of India from 25 July 2007 to July 2012 and was also the first and to date only female president of India. She is a member of the Indian National Congress. Next question होची who is the first woman chief minister of state? यार आंसर होची C. Suchita Kripalani. Suchita Kripalani was an Indian freedom fighter and politician. She was India's first woman chief minister, serving as the head of Uttar Pradesh government from 1963 to 1967. Next question, who is the first woman union minister? यार आंसर होची B. Rajkumari Amrita Kaur. Them Rajkumari BBG Amrita Kaur DSTJ was an Indian activist and politician. Following her long-lasting association with the Indian independence movement, she was appointed the first health minister of India in 1947 and remained in office until 1957. Next question होची हु इज द फर्स्ट वुमेन प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ INC यार आंसर होची सी आनी बेसंत ये होची आनी बेसंत को फोटो सी वाज ए प्रोलिफिक ऑथर विथ ओवर 300 बुक्स एंड pamphlets to her credit. As an educationalist, her contributors including being one of the founders of the Banaras Hindu University. Besant's goal was to provide employment, better living conditions and proper education for the poor. Next question, who is the first woman judge of Supreme Court? Your answer होची मीरा साहिबा फतिमा बीबी ए मीरा साहिबा फतिमा बीबी ये होचनी मीरा साहिबा फतिमा बीबी. मीरा साहिबा फतिमा बीबी was the first woman to become the judge of Supreme Court. After her retirement, she became the member of the National Human Rights Commission and also served the position of Governor of Tamil Nadu from 1997 to 2001. Next question, who is the first Indian woman ambassador at UN? Your answer होची C Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit was an Indian diplomat and politician who was the 6th governor of Maharashtra and 8th president of the United Nations General Assembly, the first woman appointed to either post. तो आज भिडियो आपण मैंने देशर प्रथम प्रशासन और सरकार विषय जानिले एवं जेपरिक भिडियो आरंभ कही कि आपण मानक एक क्विज दिज्व और तार आंसर आप कमेंट बॉक्स में जन पारे. तो आज क्विज होची हु इज द फादर ऑफ बायोलॉजी यार आंसर आपण मैंने कमेंट बॉक्स में जनातु और जदि भिडियोटी भल लगी भिडियो को लाइक करूँ और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करूँ और आपण मान पुणी देखा एक नुआ भिडियो सहित से पर्यंत जय हिंद जय भारत.